So this afternoon, I worked on cleaning the wardrobes in the costume cupboard, and I wish I had taken more before and after pictures, but if I had to describe the contents in 3 words, it would be belts, shoes, and lots of scarves. A lot of them were dark, so it's kind of hard to tell here, but that's actually not one layer of scarves. I had to stack them up in rows to make enough space for all of them.
So the contents of that cupboard is now absolutely everywhere. There are ties over there, clothing, belts. Down here are all of the pairs of shoes, all of the scarves, the bodysuits for Humpty Dumpty, and then in here I've got a whole bunch of Tupperware sort of containers with army clothing, which the wardrobe did have a sticker on it saying that these would be in here, so that's one thing that was correct. I think I'm going to fold up the rest of the army clothes and probably put it back into the buckets. I kind of want to empty one of these shelves over here and put all the shoes on them so that we can actually see them. And then I might put some of the ties and belts up along these 2 bars here, but I'm not really sure what to do with the scarves at the moment. There is an absurd amount of them. I'm pretty sure that most of them were probably left in the mem hall at some point and just ended up in here. Literally, there's like close to 50 here, so I might just fold them up because most of them are the same. Like, I'm certain these must have been school scarves at one point because almost all of them are black. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fold up the army clothes, probably fold up the scarves and put them in there, belts on one side, ties on the other, and then hopefully get the shoes somewhere where they can be on display. So on the left side of the wardrobe, I've hung all the belts, and on the right side, we have all the ties. And there's actually quite a few more here than what it looks like because they do go on kind of behind a bit. I did have to double up some of them. But that is all the ties, and there's quite a nice selection there. I've ended up putting all the black scarves into a larger plastic bin, and then on top of them I have a smaller cardboard box, and I've got all the brighter colored scarves that are a little bit more distinguishable. So in theory, if you need a black one, you can just grab any from the pile, and then something different is in the top box. So I would have preferred to have them hanging like the belts are, but there just isn't enough rail space available up there. I mean, there was barely enough for the ties. So boxes will have to do for now. Also, with the army gear, I'm hoping that later on I can get them out of these boxes and onto the railings over here if I can find space and more hangers, because I think that would be a lot easier for trying to find the different army costumes, especially since I think they're going to do a modern version of Les Mis later on in the year, so it could be good to know where the army costumes are when that happens. The next task is going to be this cupboard here, which is filled with leftover fabrics for making new costumes with. And hopefully once it's been organized just a little bit more, especially in the middle section, the top shelf, then I can get rid of some of the stuff that's over here on this mattress, because there's quite a bit of leftover fabric here that could be in the cupboard instead. On the top shelf, I've put all of the scrap fabrics, as well as a clear bucket full of threads, ribbons, cords, elastic bands, and trims. And then underneath that is a box full of zips, and then all this is fabric which I felt was substantial enough that a full garment could be made for a costume out of it, so that's where all the bigger pieces of fabric are, basically. I'm pretty happy with how this looks. The problem is that I had to take all of this stuff out of the cupboard to make it look that nice. So it's everything from plastic guns to crowns to feather boas to wigs, and I don't really know where I'm going to put it yet. That worries me because I don't want this to turn into a project where I just kind of make a huge pile here of things I don't know where to put yet. I'm thinking, though, that over here there is some more fabric and trims and things that I could put into the new clean cupboard, and then hopefully use some of this surface space to organize the accessories. There's also a huge bucket of hats up there, and I know that some of this stuff I pulled out of the closet is actually hats, so I could put them up there too. But that was this afternoon's work.